Here is a 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost convertible in Riptide Red Metallic over Space Gray cloth and leatherette blend. Did Ford find the sweet spot for a convertible with performance? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and up front, you're going to get your signature daytime runnings, LED headlights, and sequential turn signals. It's not going to have the athletic grille as the GT, but it still is polished off well, more of a square fascia, a wide profile, and the hood will not get the hood scoops because underneath is a EcoBoost turbocharged engine instead of the Coyote V8. Both engines have increased in performance, which is one of those nice attributes, because nowadays every rival that's going against this is going EV, and Ford said, you know what, we're going to give the EcoBoost, but we're going to increase that Coyote V8 as well, and we're going to give a dark horse that has 500 horsepower, which is 100 horsepower per liter. Underneath the hood of this is a 2.3 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder turbocharged, producing 315 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque compared to a 10-speed automatic transmission. And don't be fooled by EcoBoost, because this is one of the fastest Mustang that's a 4-cylinder since it came out. It's going to be more of a basic setup here, so we don't have any performance packages. This is going to be the 18-inch 5-spoke alloy wheels, wrapped with 235/50 around all 4 tires. But the nice thing with the Mustang is all of them will have an independent rear suspension that they implemented a few years back. They don't offer an intelligent all-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive system, so this makes it a little bit easier to take some corners. The weight distribution is not going to be near a 50-50, but with Mustang, you're looking for that iconic blend. So you want it to kind of slide around a little bit, and if you get the high performance package, this will give you the 3.55 Torsum limited rear slip differential, 19x9 carbonized gray painted wheels that will be wrapped with 255/40 all around and Brembo brakes. The grille will also be changed out to the carbonized black grille, electric hand operated parking brake, which will enable the drift mode, front tow hooks, which I'm not a huge fan of that, but when you're in the EcoBoost, I could see people doing it, heavy duty front springs, changing out the steering wheel to give you a leather wrap steering wheel and paddle shifters, and giving it a unique chassis tuning. But as it sits, this is going to be just a cruising vehicle that gets quick 0 to 60s, and it's going to sip fuel. I mean, you're at 22 mpgs for the city and 33 mpgs for the highway, and whether you have the top up or down, it's a Mustang. So it's going to look good in the heat of Florida, taking it to the beach, because we're Clearwater St. Pete right now. LED sequential turn signals come into the rear and the lower dual exhaust tips. Optioning the Coyote V8 will get you quad exhaust tips. Both of them come standard with rear parking sensors and a rear camera. No trunk lid spoiler, so keeping a more settled look, but still adding some of the dynamics that can be found on the Coyote V8. Cargo, you're going to lose 2.1 cubic feet. It's going to be 11.4 cubic feet of storage, the same opening as a non-convertible. And we do not have a spare tire tucked underneath. You'll have to pay extra for that. But we need to go inside, start up this EcoBoost so you can hear that exhaust note. Power seat adjustment for the driver, 2-way manual adjustment also with the space gray cloth and vinyl, 4-way manual adjustment for the passenger. Headroom and leg room. The dashboard is going to be more simplified. You get the Mustang badging with the pattern, more flat, 9 speakers, 2-screen layout, which has a 13.2-inch infotainment screen. You have the quick wedges over here on the side. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming Bluetooth audio, Sync 4, put it into reverse, and we got a reverse camera with full trajectory with reverse parking sensors. You can zoom in to line up for a tow. I don't know what you would tow with the Mustang. Red push button start. Push on this pony button here and it will change for your color scheme for the ambient lighting and the cluster theme, which is a 12.4 digital reader. It's a little hard to see, so we're gonna just pull that off right here. So that way you can see the different gauge layouts. This will be normal, sport, track, com, and of course the Fox body 87 through 1993 to keep the heritage of the Mustang in place. You can option a wireless charging pad, 2 USBs, a 12 volt, a key fob for the new Mustang, 10-speed automatic transmission, and you get that pattern coming in yet again. Electric park brake. We do not have the actual manual park brake, which both of them are still electric, and it's going to be everyday material. Soft back here that opens up to a medium-sized storage pocket with a 12 volt pin holder. It's labeled with the pin. 3-spoke steering wheel, multi-function. No paddle shifters, and the gauge cluster can go through an array of information, and you can also change the different driving modes, which gives you a little tutorial video that makes it look pretty cool and retro, keeping it up to date with today's times. The door panel will integrate into the dash. You're getting that pattern, and you get the soft materials here and where it needs to be. One touch up and down for all the windows, and a small storage pocket that you can fit an umbrella. And to put the top down, you still have to use this little lever here, and then just simply push the button. And now there's absolutely no reason to have problems for headroom. To enter into the back, lift the lever, move it electronically. Gonna take a couple minutes. And now, trying to see how I fit with the convertible. The way these seats contour, they really go inward, so it's not necessarily the most desirable. Your legs are going to be sitting up in the air. As for headroom, it's a little bit better than the coupe. Legroom, if the seats are back, you're not going to be able to fit back here, and there isn't anything for armrests. You just put it right up here whenever you're putting the top down. As for the rails, they're pushed back, so when the seat is back, you're not going to be really moving anything around. Because the convertible top is a little bit more old school where you have to pull the lever, I decided to start the review off with the top down first. We're going to roll up the windows so that way it's not as noisy. But you'll still be able to hear 315 horsepower without too many issues and 350 pound-feet of torque out of this EcoBoost engine. This is the base model trim that's convertible, which takes it over $40,000, in which the prior gen you'd be around high 20s to $30,000. So the price has increased, but you are getting a little bit more performance. I understand 5 horsepower isn't a lot, but you're getting the new technology and the layout of the interior. As you go up the trims, you will get a little bit more technology and that curved one panel glass, but on the exterior you're not going to really notice a difference. You will have to option things like the performance or high performance package in order to get things done. But look at what she got. Now it's not going to feel like a V8, so don't even expect that, but if you're on a budget and you're wanting a convertible, this is the way to go, because nowadays what can you get for this kind of price with this kind of performance and convertible? Because if you're looking at, say, a BMW, you're going to be spending a lot more money. Go into a 430i and you're talking over $50-some thousand. Yes, it's better weight distribution, and if you get the X-Drive, you'll get all-wheel drive, but you'll be spending more money to service the vehicle. And typically what I say on my BMW or Mercedes or even Audi reviews is what kind of bargain deal you get. But when you go to Ford, everything is a lot less priced, and you can make this a little bit more track-derived by adding different packages, which takes me to some pros and cons. Once you start adding these features to the vehicle, you're going to be hovering over $50,000. They have now opened the door for a lot of different competitors, not just Chevy and Dodge, which they are exiting and going into EVs. So I like that Ford has kept the iconic pony with the traditional 5.0 liter, and they give you the EcoBoost alternative, in which you can save about $15,000. It's still a playful vehicle. Some pros about it is I like the two screens set up a little bit more so than the one curved panel, because it keeps a little bit more of the traditional Mustang image, but it gives me a bit of a Tesla vibe because the screens are so big. I wouldn't mind seeing maybe an 8 or 8.8 inch widescreen. I think it would have fit a little bit more flush with this dash layout, and it would have kept more of that traditional Mustang heritage, because it's almost like getting a flat screen TV opposed to the big box TVs that we used to have back in the 90s. You get a 40 or 50 inch TV and the back was literally the size of me, and now you're getting these flat screens, and that's what they're putting on the dash. So that's kind of what it reminds me of, and I want it to be tech driven, but I also want it to be iconic. I like what they're doing with the gauge cluster because you get the Fox body gauges, but the technology just, I feel like they've taken it a little bit too far with the larger screens. Turn radius at a stop point is going to receive about 2 lanes, and let's give her a little go. Does take off pretty good when you need it to, and it's fast for a 4-cylinder vehicle, and it's a cruiser when it needs to be. So you're getting both worlds blended in. Would I personally go for this over some of the competitors? I would, but it opens up the doors for the German rivals, in which they have a little bit more engineering for their suspension. They also offer intelligent all-wheel drive systems and near 50-50 weight distribution. So that is sadly one thing that would make this a awesome deal if you're looking for a second owner. Here we go. Because we don't have the paddle shifts, it's not going to feel as dynamic either. I would definitely option a few packages, putting the active exhaust notes so I can turn on the exhaust outside, kind of irritate some of my neighbors, because we always have one of those neighbors that sometimes is happy with you, and then sometimes they get up on the wrong side of the bed. This one will put a smile on their face, because every time they'll hear that active exhaust note, especially if you go into the Coyote V8. This one's going to be a little bit more settled. Now with the top up, the car is completely transformed. I don't hear anything. Very silent. The sound deadening has improved from the prior gen. But when you're going into the EcoBoost, you will see and feel some vibrations from that 4-cylinder engine. They're getting a lot of power underneath it, in which is why it's going to have that idle to it also. Anything that's small, turbocharged with over 300 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque, that's a lot to motivate this box structure. It's not even aerodynamic. We got it in sport mode. Now it's time to unlock 315 horsepower, or 5 horsepower more than the outgoing generation. Here it is. It's not going to have a symphony of an exhaust note, but with 350 pound-feet of torque, it pushes you back enough. I like the charms that come in to the new Mustang. The big problem that I have with the EcoBoost is that I just don't feel the same performance of a Mustang. I feel more like I'm in a Focus RS, in which it was okay when this vehicle was in the $20,000 price, but now you're topping or going into the $40,000 price. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Check out the next video, merchandise, website, and Instagram. Leave a comment and a like, and I'd like to thank Furman Ford for giving us this 2024 Ford Mustang EcoBoost convertible for our car review.